This is Black Woman CEO. Welcome to the only podcast dedicated to giving you the raw and real experiences of successful Black women entrepreneurs. Yes, girl, we're talking about the behind the scenes strategies of what it takes to increase in your profit, power, and purpose. I am your host, Quanisha Green, and I invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show. This is an interactive talk that we're doing for Talk Tuesday, where I'm going to share how I closed 33K within 20 days just this October, right? In the middle of a pandemic and all these other things. But I wanted to come share this so that you know what's possible for you and your business. Some of you are at that place where you may be ready to do this. And some of you, this may be aspirational, where you're just like, okay, well, I know how it works. Right. So if you don't know about me, once again, I'm the confidence strategist for Black women entrepreneurs, where I really help Black women to elevate their confidence and emancipate their earning power. The founder and CEO here of Black Women CEO, the only organization combining research with proven strategies to really help you Black women, right, to land high-end clients and to grow your business. One of the reasons why it's so important for, me to go behind the scenes and pull back the curtain is this statistic. And if you have been in our community, I say this every single live because I think it's so important for us to know the state of Black women-owned businesses, right? So on average gross receipts here in the United States for Black women-owned businesses is $24,000 a year. And that comes from the 2019 State of Women-Owned Business Report that was commissioned by American Express. So let's check in, y'all. So you tell me if you want to leave a legacy. You tell me if you want to own your time. Put own your time in the chat. You tell me if you want to live life on your terms, right? You tell me if you want to leave a legacy for whether it's your family or your community, right? Let me know if any of those things, because these are things women have shared with me, private clients, as to why they are looking to grow a business, right? Whether it's starting or to get to that next place, that next level CEO, right? That next level business that they want to be. Now, here's the thing. Would $24,000 a year help you to do that, right? Is that a hell no or a hell yes, right? Because some of you want to keep your main job and work your business part-time, right? So having an extra 24K, you might be like, yeah, girl, I'm good. I can go on vacation, right? I can pay invest it, right? So the extra 24K, which after tax is probably like 20,000, right? May be fine, right? But for most of us, right, to do all those things that I just said and to do it full time, right? To have your business be your main endeavor, that ain't enough, right? That is not cutting it at all, right? So while Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, we make the least average gross revenue, whether you rate that by race, whether you rate that by gender, right? And on average, the average for women-owned businesses, including white women, right? Their average is 5 times that. It's like 119,000, right? And then that for the group that's right next to us, they make twice as much, and that's Latina women. So their average is about $56,000 a year. So it's important that as Black women, we talk about, right, how we're making our money, especially those of us who are making multiple 5 figures, 6 figures, right? We need to talk about the dollars and not be shy to kind of talk about the figures, right? And the money and where it comes from. Because for me, at Black Women CEO, we beat that average every year, right? Even years that I'm like, girl, I had to take some time off to tend to mental health, right? We beat that average every year, right? So some of us may not have 6 figures business yet, right? We have hit 6 figures in our total business revenue, multiple 6 figures, right? But to me, if you're beating that average, you are successful. Well, actually, if you make any money in your business, you have validated your concept, right? But to beat that average, right? That's what I wanted to do. I want to, help Black women beat that average. Then I want us to help get on par with the average for women-owned businesses. Then I want us to exceed it. So that is my vision. And I just articulated that because I applied for this funding program. So I'm like, oh, this is my vision. I got to articulate exactly what that looks like. And I want to help 10,000 Black women own businesses over the next 10 years, right? So at least $1,000 a year, right? So if you're in that, put CEO sister, or put 10 and 10. Actually put 10 and 10 if you're like, I want to be part of that vision, right? And we can talk about different ways that can happen. So now you know the why. why this work is important, why now, and actually it may be important forever because we face so many disparities as a community, and then particularly as Black women, as that we exist at that intersection of race and gender, right? And that creates its own unique experiences. So at Black Women CEO, we are clear about saying that Black women, we are not a monolith, right? But there are cultural, historical, familial, and even our own lived experiences that shape who we are. Right. And there are some commonalities in that. And Black Women CEO turned 5 this year. Right. And although I talk about a space from the research, I'm not talking about us as a group, I'm looking at the research, but also anecdotally, or anecdotal. I have 5 years in helping over 20,000 women, right, in our network. And I count that by the people who've actually given us our email address. Our platform is like 37,000, right? So, but I count it as 20, like people who've actually given us an email, because that told me they signed up for something, whether it was a free workshop, right, or a guide, or they paid clients. And we've had over 400 customers to date. And actually that's statistics from like a couple of months ago, so maybe more now. And about 75 women who have invested in Black Women CEO to work with me in our community at a high level, right? At least 1,000 plus. So that's how I count that. Right. And we've had women sign up for 10K programs and all these different kind of things like that. So I just wanted to give some context, right, about who we are, because we have a bunch of new people in our community. I have a master's in social work. I have certificates in organizational behavior management and corporate and master life coaching, and probably some other things right now, content strategist, joy money matrix facilitator, right? That I just did some licensing with some organizations to bring even some more really proven strategies and structures to us to help you with marketing and sales. But I'm all about you getting paid well and top dollar for what you do. Put paid well, or put top dollar in the chat. If you're like, yeah, girl, I want to be getting paid 5K, 10, 15K. I want to be closing 25K, 45K contracts, right? Everything I name is what our clients have done here, right? So it's not a pipe dream. These are actually things women have done in their businesses. And during this time when we've been in a pandemic, some of you have seen the screenshots where I've shared that people have closed, 16K contracts, 30K contracts. And this is not just for business coaching. Like I have one client, she does emancipation freedom stuff. She helps people like tap into their emotions, particularly people of color, in a radical way. And she got a 30K contract to do that with an organization. She was just exploring a 27K contract. She was like, I was helping her with the messenger, right? So in this pandemic, you can still make money. You can still make money. And so one way I'm going to kind of go into the tips, I have like 7 here that I was logging. And there may be some extra as I think about other things that I did to make that 33K. I'm going to talk about some of the inner work that I did and then some of the tactical things that I did too, right? So there are ways that we need to master ourselves in order to master our business. And everything we do here at Black Women CEO starts with Mindset Matters. But I'm not going to go into my whole lecture that I have around why mindset matters for Black women, but just trust me that it does. It matters for every single body, right? Our mindset, because it helps to shape our reality. Right? It helps us shape our reality in that way. And let me just make sure I have the group up as well so that I can see if any comments are there. Okay, so I think we're cool in both places. All right, so 33K in 20 days. So I like to always break down how sales months are figured so that you know what that looks like. So I count that as contracted sales, contracts that people have signed and made a deposit for, right? And I add that total value. And here's the thing, in 10 days, I closed, it was 31K of that. So it was actually a shorter time period, but for the 2K that came in, it was like another about, I guess like 9 days as I did a workshop and some other things that trickled in, right? The cash value of that, if I was to show you my QuickBooks, and actually we'll bring it up because my accountant may have updated it. So here in QuickBooks, I just took a screenshot. I forgot. For last month, it shows that in cash, $18,439 of that 33K well, let me not say that. $18,439 came in as cash revenue. So that includes existing programs, right? And then deposits for the new programs. But that 33K is new sales, right? It was new contracts in that way. So first, one way that I made this, right? And actually, this is the best year that I've had at Black Woman CEO when it comes in terms of revenue. I've made 30% more than I did last year. And that I did that by September. So, there's still 2 months left. So we are at like 84,000. I want to have a 6-figure year, right? So that's my goal. And I'm very always transparent about that. I've been working for 100K in 1 year for like the last 2 years and we get close. And then I experienced a health thing that takes me away. So this year I'm putting more operations structured. We hired more teams because I don't want to bottleneck my business, right? So that was one tip. Actually, I'll add that on. Well, two. So these are preface things. So I wrote it down. So one, for this pandemic, I made a choice that I'm not participating in a recession. So that was the first thing I did. And once again, that's mindset. And there was so much stress in March, right? Oh, and let me just say 60K of this cash that came in, the contract value is higher and I need to add it up for the year. But the cash that hit my account was since March 13th. And I count March 13th because that was the day that my children's school closed for the weekend because it was like, oh, we're going to figure out this pandemic response. And they never opened again. The preschool opened in September, but as far as like my grade schooler who's now in 3rd grade, he has not gone back to the actual physical building since March 13th. So for me, that's when the pandemic started, right? And it was like the second day in this, and my husband turned to me when I think we were like on the couch. I don't think we were like pillow talking. And he was like, what are you going to do when women stop investing in coaching? Right? What are you going to do when women stop investing in coaching? And that's when I decided, because I was feeling anxious when he first said that. And I was like, hell no, I'm not participating. And those of you who have been in the community for a while, you may have seen that video when I was like, no, I ain't doing it. We're going to realign. I'm going to help y'all realign, right? We did a whole 30-day magnetized training where I helped so many of you to quote unquote pivot. And to me, it's realigning because you didn't change your business. It's like, let's realign because guess what, everyone? There are always buyers, right? So write that down. There are always buyers and buyers are everywhere. And it's always about talking to people's need and connecting what you have to what people need and want, right? And I do trainings on that. And we'll be doing that actually in our Rise 3-day boot camp. We'll be talking about that. I'm going to train y'all on that, right? So that was the first choice I made, that I am not participating in a recession. And with that, that meant I'm not lowering my prices, right? I'm going to operate business as usual. But it actually like drove me even more because I was just like, I knew there were women who needed my help, right? So for me, it wasn't just quote unquote buyers, some like arbitrary or like masculine way of seeing this. I was like, I know that there are women who even more than probably ever who need my help into building a profitable online business, whether from the start or growing it. And this time is so pivotal for that, right? So I knew that. I knew there were still women who had the means, they were just at home now, right, to do that. So that's one of these mindsets I want you to take on, because this pandemic will probably be going into the next year, that even in this last 2 months of the year, you can make money and you can decide not to participate in this recession. And that there are people who still exist and have the means. I call it soulmate clients, right? There are people who are dealing with the struggles that your service provides or that you help them to get, right? And they can pay you, right? That's really important. Your ideal client or your soulmate client is someone who has the means to still pay you, right? So if you've been dreaming up some demographic group that can't pay you, then, or a psychographic group even, then that's not your ideal client. Your ideal client can pay your prices, right? And they see the value of the investment. So that was one thing I did. I made a choice not to participate in a recession, right? That was like the pre to this. I made that decision back in March, right? But the second, and I invested in myself. So even this year, I invested in a high level mastermind. Over the last year, it was like 10K, a 10K mastermind. I made that investment when I didn't even know I was going to make this much money this year. And it helped me to make that much money, right? It was a joyful CEO mastermind with my mentor, because not only did I want to up level my business, I wanted to experience joy. So that's like another pre thing. right? One, I invested in myself, but I invested in the vision that I wanted to achieve, which was more joy, more peace, right? And happiness as I grew this business. And for me, that meant not doing all these low ticket things and overworking and stressing myself out. I still got to work on my self-care stuff. Many of you have seen me talk about that, right? But I invested in someone who could help me, right? So I invested in myself through investing in other people, right? And that helps me with business strategy and other things. So when this happened in October, from October 2nd through the 6th, right, I was in Sedona, Arizona for my Joyful CEO retreat. And we do an activity that I just became licensed in. It's called the Joy Money Matrix. And it helps you to kind of see, right, what's bringing you joy right now and what isn't, right? And then there's some other steps where you start to take things off your plate that you do not enjoy, right? So this other decision, and you can say it was somewhat a mindset shift as a result of investing in myself. One, I learned a new paradigm for running my business, and I decided to operate in that paradigm, right? And then I decided to have the business that I want. That me taking some of these things off that I no longer wanted to do was okay. And during the retreat, this is like number 2. I'm pretty sure I just said 4, but I have it down as number 2. So number 1 was investing in myself. So that's what you would do, right? Invest in support and someone who can help you get to where you want to go. Because here's the thing about us Black ladies, right? We try to do everything ourselves, right? And we try to figure things out ourselves. And some of you have invested in yourselves, right? So some of you have been through this process of like, nah, I'm not doing that. You've been in masterminds on these other things, right? But it's a continuous process. I have invested over 50K plus in my business education. That's not counting my degrees and certificates and all these other things. So just about every year, I spend a couple of thousand on a mastermind to help me with something or a high level group coaching program. Right. So you have to invest in yourself. I don't care if it's $99 and you got to learn something. I made my first $1,500 in business from a $97 4-week boot camp back in like 2012. Right. So invest in yourself in a process, right? Or in someone who, one, has the life that you desire, right? Or the business that you desire, and can help you and take you through a process to get it. And sometimes it's not always like, oh, 5 steps and so and so and so. Sometimes it's having a unique strategy, having a process, having a clear path to get there. And for me this year, it was not doing things that I enjoy and focus on the things, the like services and programs that I enjoy and that have a high impact. Right. So during this retreat, this number 2, I shifted my mindset. So one, it was like still orienting to joy, but I had this epiphany, and I also shared this in our community, that I am enough. What I do is enough, and how I do it is enough. Now, I am enough is one of those, our 10 power principles that I've taught many of you through some of our complimentary workshops or in our paid programs. And sometimes I put in parentheses, I am good enough, right? And that is an evolving process mindset. So you may be like, Quanisha, did you not feel you were enough? I did, right? It's something I took on years ago, that I am enough, right? It helps me to be successful in business, right? It's one of the mindset principles that we teach here. But for this next level, I was dealing with some things as I've had some high level masterminds this year and programs, but it was just like, I'm enough, that who I am, the things that I struggle with, the things that I'm great at, that is enough for people to pay me well for it. And actually the people will be attracted to that, just who I am. So I want you to put in the chat, I am enough. And here's where it gets deeper. What I do is enough, right? What the service I provide is enough. I ain't got to add more calls on. Actually, I'm taking some stuff off, right? I ain't got to add more workbooks, right? That me just showing up, even like this, if it was a paid training, is enough. Just me and my voice. And that was something I learned over the last 2 years, right? As I started to do webinars with just me without slides. But what I do and the means in which it's done to help people get their results is enough. I ain't got to add more stuff on, right? And that goes into the next thing of how I do it is enough. So it's enough to just have a flagship, right? And I added on a retreat, because I realized that I love, what I enjoy most is facilitating deep transformative work for Black women entrepreneurs so that you can step into this new sense of self, your next level you, right? And so with that, I decided that Black Women CEO was focusing on two things, right? That was our flagship program, Rise, which was now going to include a retreat. And then my mentor said at this retreat, she was like, I was like, yeah, there's people who, even after they pay for high level coaching, like say 5K with me, they'll start signing up for like $1,000 something or a $500 workshop. And she was like, well, why don't you just have a lifetime membership? Because she has that, and that's what I bought. Right? As I invested in, she was like, if people are consistently coming back and they love working with you, right? The I am enough, right? Even sometimes I'm a hot mess, how I decided, right? She was like, just have a lifetime membership. Right? She was like, you do your flagship program, you do your retreat, and then we have your lifetime membership. So that's where I came out of the retreat with. So I have in my little notes, 1, investing in myself, right? In the first place. 2, shifting my mindset that I am enough, what I do is enough, how I do it is enough. Right? Number 3, which I had tapping into what brings me joy, which was part of the process that I'm now going to be facilitating for y'all, right? In our programs, the Joy Money Matrix, right? And then number 4, and this was really important. So although I articulated the offers that I was going to make, right? And these were multiple 4-figure offers, right? And the pricing was going to increase for some of them by $3,000, right? Just to give you some context, right? Multiple 4-figure offers. I made the offers. So not just created them. That same day that I got home, October 6th, I just wrote out what the lifetime membership was. I decided to message a couple of women who were these people who were in a community. And I will say, let's say I messaged 10 people, about 7 of the 10 signed up. One person paid in full, like she paid a full $3,000 because I gave them a deal, right? And I also gave them a credit for what they already paid in different things for the year. So I told them, I said, you can enroll in this. You will get the Rise program. Some of them didn't have that, right? You will participate in our flagship and you get the retreat as a bonus. So in making the offer, I made it irresistible, right? When they were like, bet. Bet, right. So I did, and I had added this up for you all. I was trying to add in, but I could break down the numbers. I think it was like 5 of them or something like that. So within like 2 days, I had closed like it was like 19K of that because I did some videos and my mentor was like, we got to celebrate you, right? But the thing I want you to take away is that I didn't just create the offer, because this happens so many times. It even happens to some of my paid client. Y'all have a business in a box. You will have your offer, your comprehensive offer package. I have created the marketing plan for people and basically their whole business, right? Content, everything. And then they don't implement it. And then I work on them on that because we got to work on them implementing. But before I even started changing our program, I used to do a 6-week intensive to help people do all this. And when we were done, I didn't help them with implementation. That's why I changed our programs to add that. But they will literally sit there with this offer, right? Because one, they thought, I got to go do more stuff. They didn't feel they were enough, which I just talked about. And then there was fear around offering it for $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. Right? So that offer just sat there, right? The business plan or the money plan, the profit plan, as I like to call it, just sat there. And that's what some of you are doing. You join programs, right? And they help you think through a system, and you may even be creating this stuff, but then you don't go make it happen, right? You don't go implement it actually in the real world. So you got to do your work in the real world. And I didn't hesitate because guess what? I was so happy. I was like, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to go share it with the world. So number 5 was not shrinking from my pricing, right? And in that, I made it irresistible, and I made the ask. And I didn't feel like I was bothering anyone. I was making an invitation into something that I knew was beautiful. So you have to believe in what you offer. You have to believe in what you offer everybody. And you can't be afraid to make the invitation when you know, like the back of your hand, right? And that's where the confidence come in, where you know, like the back of your hand, that this would change their lives and get them on path right? And sometimes actively doing it, get them on path to where they want to go. And my numbers are going to be off, y'all, a little bit because I realized I said some things and then later on I was like, oh, I put that as a number. Right. But I'll read them down because I do have them in order. Right. Okay. So made the offers, made the invitations, and the majority of the people that money came in were the lifetime memberships. And then I decided on the retreats that every single program would have a retreat. And then I was going to just do some retreats. I love Sedona so much. It was magical that I decided, actually, so the first day I did the lifetime and the retreat at the same time. So one thing you could say is that I was courageous and I debunked that idea that you can only offer one thing at a time. Right. But I want you to be strategic about this because publicly I was promoting the retreat. And then that first day it sold out. Right. We had the 6 women who were coming. It sold out. So I decided I'm going back to Sedona in the same Airbnb I was in, and I'm bringing y'all with me. And women were like, bet. Right. So some of the lifetime members got that retreat, but then also people just invested in the retreat itself. Right. So I want to break that down. That one, I sold something that I loved. I sold something that I knew would serve my soulmate clients because I was confident in what I had to offer and the transformation that they would get as a result of that. I didn't shrink from the pricing of it, right? It was the retreat at the time was a $3,000 investment. I didn't shrink from the pricing. And that's the pricing that my mastermind and my coach, we all came up with of like, your retreat needs to be this. Right. And we even just said, okay, the retreat and the program that you're going to do needs to be this. Right. So I listened to my coach. Right. I listened to my coach. She gave me a pricing. We figured out the offers, and it's my job to come up with the program from that offer. That's where your expertise is. But I listened to my coach and I didn't shrink from the pricing. And then I made the invitations. Some of them, the retreat was public. I posted on Facebook. I was like, message me. And this is what I wanted to remind you all. I did this all via Messenger and email. I didn't get on one sales call. I think maybe I did a voice memo. Like a couple of us talked via voice memo, but it was like in Boxer. I didn't get on one phone call. So while I teach you, like my community, or let's just say the women in my program, our pay clients, how to have an effective sales call, and some of you know that, right? And it's a good skill to have. I'm really great at sales calls. Like I have a 90% conversion rate for sales calls, right? And there's processes as to why that happens. But I decided last year that I don't want to get on the phone with nobody anymore. And I invested in someone, right? Once again, I invested in myself through investing in other people who she has made multiple $1 million, even over her last 2 million, the last 2 years, just by messenger and email and using her sales pages as the key, right? So I knew how to write up what I was talking about in a way that was really effective, that it sold, like the word sold itself. And then I just had to answer some questions that people had, right? That, after reading that. So once again, I was operating from a place of joy, right? And that idea that how I do it is enough. How I do it via DM is enough. And the women who are my soulmate clients will love that. You're like, girl, we didn't even have to get on the phone. We did this via Messenger. I'm in, right? And I send them a payment link. that was it, right? So that was it. And so the other thing that I did is that I monetized my content. So I did do some videos and I wrote emails during that time. And one of the people who signed up for the retreat, she watched a video that I decided to do. And once again, I'm proficient at writing content. So I don't want to make it seem like, oh, I willy-nilly did this video. I have a live stream for leads process. And so even when I'm doing a video on the fly, I know how to like organize my content in my head. So I just want to be like transparent about that, right? So it wasn't like, oh, willy-nilly, I was in the shower and I did a live stream. I know how the order in which I talk about things, right, should work. But one of the people who signed up for the retreat, she heard it and my invitation the invitation was to join our pilot program. So I also created a pilot program because I wanted to change how I was doing our flagship program. So people signed up for that. So the offers were a retreat I sold by itself, the lifetime membership where people got the retreat, like one retreat as a bonus, right? And then I decided to do a pilot of my flagship program because instead of being 6 months, I want to do it in 90 days. And I wanted to change the content. So some women signed up just for the pilot, right? And so those three offers together, and then there's one person who was already in the retreat, and she was like, okay, well, maybe I should do the pilot. And then when we talked, I was like, you actually need some private support, right? And she upgraded into private coaching, right? Into private coaching. And that was an 8K program, right? So those five things together. And then I sold a workshop after. Some of you saw that Infinite Content Model workshop, and that brought in over $2,000, just a 1 week workshop, right? That once again was priced as an introductory price because it was my first time teaching the process that I was licensing. So I'm sharing these offers because one thing I want you to know is that these are priced at multiple 4-figure offers, right? I didn't shrink from the pricing, which I mean, these are offered, I've been offering things around this level, but just because it was, oh, the retreat is new or the retreat's being revised, because actually we're going to Nassau on the 19th. So I sold this retreat before, but the price doubled for the retreat. It doubled because of some of the activities we're going to be doing in it that I got licensed in, right? So these are not just my processes, but other proprietary processes. And I was like, this is actually a higher level investment than what I originally priced it at. And where we go to like luxury villas, right? It's not just like, oh, Airbnb and we got fold out beds and bunk beds. I ain't putting nobody in a bunk bed. I don't want to be in a bunk bed. None of y'all want to be in we too grown to be in bunk beds, right? And some of you may choose to do that because you're like with your girlfriends. You're like, oh, we want the cheap B&B, but like, that's not what the experience I want my people to have, right? So I priced the office well. I made them comprehensive, right? So it wasn't something that was going to be piecemealed, like, oh, well, you need to do this, and then maybe we could do step 2, right? It was like, here's the process that you walk through to get to the place where you land high-end clients, right? And have a business that you can grow that is highly profitable so that you can have the life that you want, right? Comprehensive offer, right? That was the second thing. And then I made more offers, right? So some of you aren't making it. So this is not about creating a whole bunch of offers. Honestly, it's not about, oh, you got to have 5 offers in your business, right? That's not what it is. Michelle said, nah, no, pull out a bone. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, right? So one, you can have one offer that you sold. So the lifetime membership was already kind of like our flagship. I was just like, y'all have forever access to it in the retreats, right? And the retreat is going to be built into Rise. So technically I'm going to have one offer, but I kind of sold the pieces of it, right? Over that time because I was really excited and I wanted people to be able to just come to the retreat, right? It's before I put it all together. So you could say I piloted my work. I got paid. I'm getting paid to create and I'm getting paid to pilot. Some of you know that this is one of my creative financing processes that you get paid to create your stuff, right? So I wanted to reorganize Rise. People knew it was a pilot because I was very clear about that. And they were like, I still want to do it. I want to package my expertise. I want to do it in 90 days. So I'm getting paid to pilot. So I'm sharing some of these other things other than just numbers so that you know what's possible, right? So for some of you, this is changing your whole frame of mind around how you do business. That you can get paid to pilot your work. You can get paid to create your work, right? So I made the offers. They were comprehensive, right? And then I made some other offers because once again, I was piloting the workshop and I like to get paid to pilot. So I was like, hey, y'all, I got this license. I got to do the course. Do you want to just come in? Right. And I'll give you an introductory price for being in a new workshop. And people were like, bet, because they needed help with writing content. So one thing I want to say is that you need to love what you're selling. That's what makes it quote unquote right. You have to enjoy it. You have to make the offer for it. Right. And so don't be afraid to sell the things that you know will be effective in people's lives. Because some of you want to make a difference and you're being stingy with your genius because you're not offering it. And then the business strategy around this for why I see consistent sales, for why this 33K happen, you could say from kind of different offers, is that I make offers more often. Right. So some of you are not bringing in consistent sales because you're not consistently making invitations and offers for your work. So some of you like maybe go through a 1 week launch and then you don't talk to nobody. You don't make offers, right? Or you're just sharing content without actually monetizing it, right? Because you're not making invitations or call to actions with it. And then you don't have anything to sell, right? So you should literally be selling every day. And that's not always about just asking some people to go buy stuff. There's some strategic things, but you should be literally selling every day in your business. And once again, you don't need 5 offers to sell, right? But you should be selling every day. So I practiced selling every day. When I was done with one offer and it was full, I went to the next offer. And actually, I created another retreat in February, and that one's like halfway sold out, right? Because somebody else was supposed to do the last 2 spaces and she had like a family emergency, right? So I got 2 more seats to fill. So if you're interested, let me know, put retreat and I can talk to you about it. Because we're going to Miami in February, right? God willing, in that way. But right, I sold what I loved, I created it, I priced it well, and then I consistently made invitations for my work and offers. Right. And so the mindset, once again, that I am enough, what I do is enough, and how I do it is enough, is how I got to those 33K in contracts, where in the month, and this was the highest revenue month I've ever had in my business, where you could say almost like 18.5, so $18,500 or $18,500 came in as cash in the account in my business. Right. So what do you all think about that? So let me just recap some of the things, and these may not be in order. 1, I made a choice not to participate in a recession. 2, I invested in myself through investing in other people so that I had coaching and a structure and someone to help me to get what I want in business. I shifted my mindset. Once again, this was as a result of going through a formal program that would help me to do that I'm enough. What I do is enough. How I do it is enough. I tapped into what brings me joy, right? Because when you operate from a place of joy, you show up so much differently. And also, people are attracted to people who are confident, right? That pivotal buying factor is the like, know, and trust factor, right? So, and often people at a high level, right, landing high in clients is because they either kind of want to be you, or they like you enough and they trust you enough that you can help them to get to where they want to go, right? So they either want what you have, right? Or they know that their process will allow them to get to where they want to go. Right. So oftentimes we invest, or I at least invest in people who I'm like, I want what you got. And it's not coveting. It's more like, hey, I want to just sell offers via DM. I want to have a business that brings me more joy and also brings in multiple 6 figures, hopefully $1 million one day. Right. And that's what, like I said, 10,000 women in 10 years. Right. That to me, and that financially, I'm like, this is $1 million business to do that. Right. I made offers in the sense that like I actually didn't just create the comprehensive offer, right? The premium offer. I actually invited people. I took the act, or you can just say I made the invitation for these offers. I did not shrink from the pricing that was made, right? I listened to my coach, kind of like once again, and how we created it. And then I went and got people to buy it. And then I monetized my content, right? So I kept showing up, I kept sharing, I made call to actions, right? I kept making the invitations and quote unquote selling. And I didn't feel bad about it at all. Right. So you can say I sold every day, and I sold through content marketing. So I gave value, right? I shared why people were making mistakes. I shared some of the myths people were having. I shared the solutions, right? And then I made the invitation, say, hey, you want to get this, come to the workshop or come sign up for the pilot, right? Or in this case, I'm going to be doing some of these things for you all in our 3-day virtual boot camp, right? The Rise 3-day virtual boot camp. So everything I do got an invitation. I got an invitation for y'all too, right? So if you have a problem, this is just an aside, when you get on videos like this and the business owner makes an invitation, then we need to talk about that. That's a mindset shift, because then that really means you have a problem with selling. Sales is just service, and it's an invitation. It's not about salesmen or persuading someone. Actually, the people who work for me persuade themselves. They're like, "Oh, this is what I need." Sometimes I don't even say anything. It's like answer their questions, right? And that's what I teach. I teach that level. I call it elite selling. So I teach people not just how to do calls, but I'm teaching people my DM process. I'm teaching them my live stream for leads process, right? So that's what I'm teaching people now. So what do you all think about that? Particularly those of you who are experienced in business. I know some new folks, you can start offering a premium offer from the very beginning. There's no paying your dues to wait to get multiple 4 figures for your work. You don't have to do that. Right. So that's just one thing I want you to know. And that's what I hope people to do. Like our client, Roberta, she did about $4,500 in 2 weeks with an offer that she created anew. Right. And she basically was still like a new business owner. She's an attorney, but she was a new business owner. And this is during the pandemic. It happened in May. So the reason why I keep mentioning the pandemic thing, this works even when we're not in a pandemic, but many people are thinking that you can't make money at this time. And that is a lie. Maury says that is a lie. Because I want everyone to put in the chat, there are buyers, right? There are buyers. There are buyers. So I just want you to remember that there are buyers. So the Rise 3-Day Bootcamp is open for enrollment, and pre-sales is available, which is saving you 60% off by Friday. We're no longer about playing, right? That whole 24K a year, I'm not for it. And the whole point of what I do is to help you increase in your purpose, profit, and power. Period. I should have put a T, period. So put period with a T in the chat, everybody. So I talk about, and they're like, why we're not executing, right? And the problem, and here's what's possible for you, right? So imagine if being able to feel fulfilled each and every day because you are in service to others doing something that you enjoy. Imagine if that was your reality. That's been my reality, right? Over the last, longer than this, but once again, the purpose of this is talking about those 20 days. That was my reality. I felt fulfilled. I enjoyed what I was doing and how I did it. Imagine if having time and financial freedom to be able to give your loved ones the experiences that will create lifelong memories for them. Imagine having that, right? I decided in, I think it was like the end of July, that I took my family a week in Ocean City because I was like, we all need to get away. We would have taken a vacation by now if it wasn't for COVID. And I went on Groupon, got a Groupon, and I was like, we're going. And then we went like 2 or 3 days later. So imagine being able to do that and pay for a whole week for your family to be somewhere, right? So imagine how different your life would be if you actually had time to work on yourself as well as support your clients. Some of you are overworking, right? One, because you don't have a team, or you think you have to do everything yourself, or also you don't have the room to kind of take care of yourself because you're undercharging. So if you charge more, you get paid more of that profit goes to you as the business owner, and you can use that for more self-care to do more things that you enjoy. Because I also travel just because. And even today I told my assistant, like, I need to pay for a hotel for 2 days just to go sit by myself and get some work done and sleep. And I did that in either it was this February or last February. I paid and went away for 2 or 3 days. I think it was last year at a local boutique hotel because I was just like, I need to get away and I want to record some videos and I can just be there. So imagine if you could do that. You can work on yourself. You can pay for these high-level masterminds, right? And you can still support your people. And so once again, introducing Rise, an exclusive event designed to get Black women entrepreneurs positioned for purpose, profit, and purpose sooner rather than later. And particularly, you're going to learn our 6 elements for landing high-end clients. So if you would like a 33K in 20 days, or at least know how that works, like more specifically, go register. Go click this button right now and go sign up. It is only $200 to pre-sale. And I know some of you $200 is a lot, so I'm not trying to demean $200, but people literally pay thousands of dollars, $2,000 for what I'm going to teach you over these days. So I'm just going to scroll through, right? You'll see some of the testimonials, people that I've helped to increase their pricing, right? Who the bootcamp is for, right? And this is really for you all who don't want a hobby. You want to actually an actual business. You're trying to figure out how people are making these 4 and 5K figure offers just for their services. You're like, how y'all doing that? I'm gonna teach you how to do it. I'm gonna show you. Right. And really, women who are ready to get out of the time for money hamster wheel. Some of you are trading hours for dollars. And I don't want you to do that anymore. When you create a comprehensive offer, it is value-based pricing. Right. So if you want to start generating a high revenue with clients, it's not about how many hours you work. It's about they're paying for a result. These are like high-end buyers are result-oriented people. I'm going to teach you the qualities of a high-end buyer so you know it. Right. Who this is not for, the hobbypreneurs. You just want to sell low ticket forever and ever. That's fine. People do that. You can be the Walmart. I'm trying to be the Tiffany, right? Or at least the Lexus, something boutique. Right? And you have sunny object syndrome, right? You just like showing up and doing ideas or like quote unquote creating the offers or content, but you're not about putting it out there, like really operate it in the real world, right? And because you're like, oh, squirrel, 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 you never stick with anything long enough to actually see traction from it. This is not for you. If you want to change that, come on in. Right. And even in this time, this is a great time to build a business that gives you profits and predictability. I feel secure right now, even in the craziness of the world, because I have a business that is bringing in multiple thousands of dollars every single month. Even my lowest month this year, it was like $3,000 came in. And I only because I wasn't making offers. I was like chilling. Right. So I wasn't even like trying to get new business. That just rolled in through existing revenue. Right. And some of you need to diversify. Like I talked about this and how to virus proof your business. You need to diversify your revenue streams. So I feel secure, right? Knowing that there's money coming in and it's my money. It ain't dependent on some job. It's my money. And I'm not one of those people that like, oh, jobs are just over broke. Your job can be your initial funder for your business. Right? Your initial investor. So, and I'm not, again, I don't knock our career sisters because, you need everybody, you need employees. Some of you are going to be hiring employees in your business, right? But I don't want to depend on somebody else for money, right? And so actually do this. So I want you to close your eyes if you're able to. And imagine with me what life would look like if you had a business where you could scale and grow and that allowed you to be unfuckwittable, right? No matter what is going on in the world. So let me ask you this. Do you honestly believe that if you continue doing the same exact things the way you do it, that you will end up where you want to be? Right. And let me just be truthful. The only way to get different results is to do things differently. And if you're ready to rise, I really want to invite you to come in. Right. So you can go to blackwomanceolive.com. I'm kind of showing you the page. So just hit the register now that's at the top and go sign up. And I'll go over what we're going to do in the retreat. So you'll see the event at a glance. It's a virtual retreat from 11 to 13. So you ain't got to go nowhere. It's from the comfort of your home. Right. You ain't got to expose yourself at all. Right. And we're kind of going 10 to 4. So it is it's not an all day thing because I'm like, let's just do it. Because y'all got kids. Y'all got other things you want to do. Right. So we're going to be doing like 10 to 3, 10 to 4. Right. Those of you who do VIP will have like an evening happy hour. Right. So VIP, you'll get 2 happy hours and I'll share what you get. Right. And so I'll go to that page. There's VIP tickets, y'all. Let me know. I love signing up for VIP stuff. I like the extra time. I like the stuff that comes with it. All that good stuff, right? So you'll see that. And VIP is just upgrading by like another $197. So it's really accessible. And these are the 6 elements I'm walking you through. We're going to talk about mindset and much of the things that I talked about, but there's more power principles for you to take on. We're going to talk about how to get in alignment with your business. Some of you don't market because you think, oh, I got to do blogging, but that's not your personality blogging. You maybe need to do this video. So I'm going to talk about how you get in alignment with your business and how to show up in that way so that you make money, right? So one of my clients, Erica, she had so much anxiety around writing, right? And she's a speaker. She's done like a TEDx talk. Right. She was like the head of Black Lives Matter in DC. And I could talk about her because Erica has written testimonials. Some of you have seen me share her things. But in May, when the pandemic started, she got featured in Essence. And the reason she got featured in Essence is because we got in alignment where I was like, why are you writing when it makes you so anxiety? You like speaking, just go do a weekly video. And we started her weekly show in November of 2018. Sorry, 2019, she got featured in Essence for that show. She literally goes on her personal page on Facebook and does an hour show. And then because of the pandemic, she started adding like an emancipation circle to help people process their emotions. But that's what she does, y'all. She's not a business coach, right? You can say she's a holistic, she helps people to get unchained. That's how she describes it, right? And to have, so she's like a freedom coach and strategist, and she works with corporations. So she was someone that also got paid multiple five figures because corporations were hiring her, but she got in alignment, right? And so that's my whole thing. Some of you are doing things. There's actually the first step in our profit roadmap is to get in alignment, right? And that's part mindset. And also, what are you doing? Right. And then service, you need a premium service. I'm going to teach you how to create a premium service. We're going to go over high ticket selling, how to position yourself as a premium brand and leader, and then leadership, right? Your own CEO mindset and how to stop stepping into that place where you're not doing everything yourself. You're not the chief everything officer, right? So I'm taking you step by step for elevating your confidence and landing high-end clients. So if that's what you want, come on in. Right. So day one, CEO mindset, business alignment. Day two, premium service and premium positioning. I'm going to teach you how to, if you've been wondering how to package your offer and create a comprehensive offer that can get you multiple four figures for it, you'd want to be here because day two, I'm going to walk you exactly through that process. Day three, I'm going to teach you high ticket selling, CEO leadership. And if you are already in business, you want to learn how to fund your business. I just wrote in the group that over the last 2 years, I have secured up to $79,000 in funding. That doesn't even count the business cards I got approved for. Like I got just approved for like the American Express Admiral card was $9,000. I've had a line of credit that was for business for $10,000. They closed it when the pandemic started because that whole company, they closed all the lines of credit and they went to like the PPP. I got, business credit cards that like the limits are like $5,000 or whatever. So I have access even to charge stuff if I need to, but this was funding. This was working capital. And I'm going to teach you the different types of funding that's out there, how to qualify for it. Right. But then even with that, I have 7 ways of creating creative financing that's not even about credit cards and getting traditional funding and all these other things. And I'm going to teach them all to you. I shared one, getting paid to create. Right, I already shared one. And your virtual ticket includes 3 days of mindset, sales, and growth strategies, once again, to help you elevate your confidence and land high-end clients, a detailed planning process for the end of this year, but because we're doing it in December, at least for the first quarter of 2021, you want to have a plan going into the new year to make money. Right. So once again, if you're an experienced entrepreneur and you're like, oh, I don't be doing forecasting and planning, you definitely want to be here. Right. Live Q&A time with me, dedicated time for implementation, reflection, and planning. I am all about helping you to get it done. Not just, oh, go learn and be lala. Like, no, I want you to leave with stuff done. So this is work time, right? Because that's actually why I started Black Women CEO. I had people in the same mastermind with me, my mastermind sisters, and they weren't implementing. And they came to me to be like, I need your help. Because I help people with taking action. They used to call me the chief activator. Right. And the reason why I'm called Black Woman CEO is because they started calling me the Black Woman CEO coach. They dubbed me that. I didn't create the name. Right. I registered it. It's a registered trademark now. But so we get it done. And then you network. So if you've been feeling alone in this walk, I know some of you have been in our group, but the group is kind of different. It's mostly me teaching, right? But you've been wanting to genuinely network with other women who invest in themselves, women who are driven like you, right? Then you definitely want to be in this. Y'all going to have a private Facebook group and all this stuff. And then I'm going to give you a printable event workbook for the first 100 that sign up, but I think it's November 27th. You're actually going to get a nice little event kit sent to you, our Rise bundle sent to you, right? So you actually have some physical gifts there. And the bonuses, this discounted bring a friend ticket. So if you want to come with your friends and participate, it's only $97, right? But you got to purchase your ticket first to get the discount ticket. And people have already been purchasing that. They bring in their friends. And yeah, people have bought tickets. So that's not even me making it up. Like people have bought tickets already, the pre-sale pricing. Access to our Rise Bootcamp, like I said, Facebook group. And the other bonus, the playlist, so that even when we're done, you still got the music to keep you hyped, right? So that one, you can finish the year strong and up level your business, right? And then there is a VIP level where you get exclusive Q&A time with me. We're going to do some power hours together. And you get my 10K cash matrix, how to generate consistent 10K in your business. So you're going to get that in a bonus in addition to some other things. So when you sign up for your pre-sale, you'll see that invitation to upgrade. So that is what we're doing during the Rise 3-day bootcamp. So go sign up, invest in yourself. This is about you investing in yourself through investing in other people. Or you can say investing in the bootcamp is going to help you to know what to do to have a 33K and 20-day experience. It's only $197. And it's going to go up on Friday. So it is 60% off. Right? Invest in your business. And if you do what I tell you to do, you will see that return on your investment. Some of you have audiences, some of you have offers ready, right? And I may even be increasing your offer, right? Some of you have your platforms, and all we need to do is get you some content and a call to action, right? And you engaging your audience. Because think about, if you make an offer that's at least, let's say at the minimum $1,000, that's like the minimum for a high ticket offer, and you sell that after the retreat, you have gotten a return on your investment almost like four or five fold, right? Like a 500% return on your investment, just if you buy a pre-sale ticket today. So this bootcamp, I am teaching you my proprietary processes. It's not just let me tell you what to do. And you're like, well, can I get a worksheet? Like, can I get this on paper? You're going to have a business event workbook where you are putting these things together, and I'm teaching you the content as if I was teaching it to my paid high-level clients. And actually, they will be in this too. They have paid to, for their materials to come in. So my VIP clients, my private clients will be in the bootcamp also, right? But you're going to have like real work that you're doing. But I would encourage you all to act by Friday, because that's when the pre-sale price goes. And after that, it's going to increase. But pre-sale, that's the best deal you're going to get. So if you want to sign up, go ahead and make it happen. Put it on a card, pay it off on time. If you're like, I ain't got the cash, well, girl, invest in yourself. Make it happen. Do what you need to do, right? And hopefully you all can see it's really simple. The majority of what I wrote or that I shared is mindset work, is you believing in what you do. I call it the 4 C's for consistent cash and clients. It's confidence, it's clarity, it's courage. And then the last C, because I used to do 3, but I'm adding on this 4th C, and maybe it's a double word, but it is consistency. But this is about consistency in your actions for your business, right? For you to get consistent cash and clients. So those 4 C's, right, for consistent cash and clients is clarity, confidence, right? So you want to have clarity in what you do and whom you do it for, right? Then you want to have the confidence that like the back of your hand, right? That your work leads to the transformations that you can provide for people, right? So you got to have that confidence. And then you have to have the courage to get out there and actually market it and sell it, right? And make the ask. Because I've had people in my coaching who will tell me, yeah, I had someone on the phone. And when they said yes, I just said, okay, I'll get back to you. And I'm like, girl, no, you got to close the deal. So, right, I'll be telling you how to close the deal. If that's been you, people have been saying yes, but then you don't close the deal. Then message you and say, I want it. And then you just because you're scared or nervous, you don't actually go through and close the deal, like getting the payment and getting their first session scheduled and all those things, right? So you have to have courage to get out there. I like to say show out, right? Show out and show off, so that you can build an audience, you can engage your audience, and you can invite your audience, for those of them who want to take that next step, to work with you. So you have to have courage to do that part, the marketing, content marketing. And then you have to have the courage to not just invite people to have a sales conversation or whatever process you'll be selling, but to also close the deal and make the, get paid, collect the payment for it. And then last thing is consistency. Once again, some of you are experiencing a famine cycle all the time because you're selling something, or you'll do a quote unquote launch, right? Maybe a couple of days when you're promoting something, right? Or even a couple of days of pitching yourself, or, maybe you're someone who does, like I said, we don't just work with coaches, but consultants. Maybe you did the whole, 10 days, I'm going to send out 10 invitations to 10 organizations, right? And then you stop. And some of the reasons why you all stop is because you actually got the client, right? Or you got, the client at whatever level, whether a business or or individual consumer, right? And then you're so focused on serving that client, which is great. You got to serve, you got to delight and deliver. That's part of our profit roadmap process, right? But then you have to keep marketing. You have to keep making the invitation for your offers, because here's what happens. Let's say you had a 90-day program, and then you go work for the 90 days, and then it's maybe instead of week 12, you're at like week 10 and you're like, oh shoot, like I'm wrapping up with this person and I don't have another client coming in. Right. So you were depending on that contract, right? Or it was a good contract, or, some of you want to hit 5K a month and maybe you got the 5K, but it was spread over 3 months anyway, or you got paid in full. But then during that 90 days, you didn't consistently market, right? So there's 5 core business activities you should be doing. And one of them is consistently marketing your business. So because you don't have that consistency in making the offers and creating content and getting it out there, you're not seeing consistent cash flow coming to your business. So if you want those 10K months, if you want those 5K months, right? If you want 100K a year or whatever, you have to show up consistently, make offers consistently, right? And once again, it could be the same offer. I actually suggest you all have one offer. And sometimes some of you are trying to do the most and you only need one comprehensive offer to land high-end clients and consistently showing up to sell that offer. And now there's different ways you can sell it. So that's the part that's unique, like your content and the mediums through which you use your content to attract, right? That can be your variety, right? But the offer can be the same. The offer can be the same. So you don't need a bunch of offers, but you have to be consistently making the calls, right, for people who are ready, because sales is service, right, who are ready to take that next step, making an invitation for them to have the opportunity to do so. Because when you don't, you're doing a disservice to them. So as you can see, a lot of landing high-end clients is that mindset, is that alignment. And then it's the logistical things of like having a premium offer, how to sell it, right? How to make sure, like, as a CEO, you're not burning yourself out on time. But the foundation of all this is believing in yourself. And we'll go over 5 of our power principles. So you actually help you to shift your mindset actively during this 3-day event. Like you will leave with a whole totally different mindset about who you are, what you do, what you deserve, and the best way for you to show up even in the marketplace, right? With your premium offer and your skills in high ticket selling and all those kind of things like that. Right. And then the other part is like the how-to part that you need to know how to do, the business skill part, I should say. And that's actually what I found when we talk about that statistic, what we need to actually, yes, with the highest growing group, but what we need to excel as Black women is that we need to, one, work on our self-biases, which is our mindset, right? And then we also have to increase our business skills. And when you do that, you become a proactive contributor to your success. Because yes, there's racism, yes, there's bias, and we shouldn't have to dance around it to get what we deserve. Some of you are dancing around bias, right, in your workplaces, so you're being overlooked, right, even though you're highly qualified and credentialed because of other people's unconscious bias, right? And it takes a while, though, for macro change to happen, for policies, right? And the advocacy that goes into that and community organizing and all these other things. But you can have a successful business right now when you know and have the skills and the mindset, right? The 6 elements to do so. And you can get paid well for that, right? You ain't got to discount your stuff. You ain't got to test it out at just $100, right? And for those of you who haven't started a business, but you do want to, you can, because look, girl, you're an expert, and we'll talk about claiming your expertise, right? Some of you recently heard me do a talk on that. You can, if you want to start your business tomorrow, you can get paid high level for it. You ain't got to wait, right? So there's no like, oh, I got to pay my dues. No, girl, you can go make your $1,000, $2,500, $5,000 offer now, because people are paying for the transformation, for the process. But even if you need to ease into that, I can share how you do that, right? Because sometimes, like I was talking about my client Roberta, the first offer was 1,000. Then she got the 1,000 for the first time. Then she increased it to 1,500. She got like 3 people at that. So that's how she got that like 4,500 somehow, all right, in 2 weeks. And then recently I shared a screenshot in the group. She doubled it. She increased it to 2,000. And she was like, we were talking. She was like, yeah, I sold it at 2,000. And she was like, actually, I feel like it should be like a $2,500, $3,000 offer. So I was like, well, next time sell it at that. She got the confidence because she sold her first 4-figure offer. I love when people make that first $1,000 sale because so much shifts for you. You're like, oh, shoot, this works. It works and somebody wants it, right? Because before she was selling like $67 things, $300 things, but that first $1,000 like contract or like someone pays in full, you're like, oh shoot, it works, right? And then you start seeing like, oh wait, this should be more based on like what I'm doing and the results. And then you feel more confident increasing your offers, right? And getting from there. So like today, you could double your pricing, right? And for some of you, maybe tripling, quadrupling your pricing to get there. But, you can't get paid well for a service that you just created, right? Or for the business you just created. So you do not have to wait. And what I want to ask you is like, do you want to learn how to do that? Because I'm going to teach you that during the 3-day boot camp. So go get your tickets, y'all, while the pre-sale is happening. Yeah, so the website is blackwomanceolive.com. So if you go there, just click the register now, because y'all can read the page. That's fine. And it may answer some of your questions, but you just talked about it, right? So if you want it, just go sign up for. And then when you click on the register now, though, it'll take you right to the cart where the pre-sale price is already included in it, right? So for the $197, the 60% off, that's already there. And once you sign up, you'll see an invitation to upgrade if you want to the VIP, and it'll share what that is. If you want to bring a friend for the $97, you have to register, and then your confirmation, I show you how to do that, how you can register your friend at $97. I want to leave you with our motto that power is the ability to create your reality, sis. So go forth and be powerful. And I hope to see you in the Rise 3-day virtual bootcamp in our Facebook group and in our community and at the event. Oh, girl, the episode stopped, but the party is not over. I want you to go ahead and subscribe, like, and rate this show. Leave us a comment sharing your takeaways. And when you're done with that, come on over to blackwomanceo.com, join our movement. And when you do that, you'll get the special invitation to join us in our community. Well, I will love to put a face to that name, girl. So this is Quanisha signing off, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Peace and love.